Whether it's revising for exams or trying to get through a massive assignment, sometimes it just feels like there's too much to do and you have no idea where to start. And I've definitely had issues like that. I've had so many moments where I just sat there staring at my notes, feeling like I'm getting absolutely nowhere. But over time, I found a variety of ways to make studying feel less painful and actually work for me. So if you're struggling with revision, planning your time, or just staying motivated, then this video is for you. One of the first steps that I do is change your environment. I love my room, but because of that, I simply cannot focus in my room for too long. Studying somewhere new like a cafe or a library instantly makes me feel more productive. I feel like another thing is also that you need to romanticize your life just a little bit. So if going to an aesthetic cafe or an aesthetic study space is going to help you feel more excited about studying, then do that. So another tip is if you have an exam or an essay to write, I check exactly the module information. For example, I know that some exams will be focusing only on spring term content and some exams will focus on both or winter term. Things like that and breaking it down will make it a lot more easier. For essays, I like to break down the question into key themes that we've already studied in class. So for example, that could mean what we studied in week 12. That could link back to the question that I'm answering. So I make sure to look at the key reading for that week, as well as any key videos or any other required reading that we were given along with the lesson. I like to go back to listen again for that particular topic and then rewatch the lecture if there's any other things that I've missed out on. And before even thinking about writing, it kind of gets me in that mood. Another thing is active recall over passive reading. I'm sure if you've been searching for studying tips, then you've definitely heard of these terms before. This for me just means that highlighting is not my way of studying. I like to test myself by summarizing topics and summarizing my notes from memory or explaining concepts out loud. Maybe practicing by teaching a friend and then seeing if they understand a concept. I feel like this helps me understand the topic a lot more, and that way you can teach it and not just read it. So one of my favorite techniques, without a doubt, I always use this, and it's such a simple technique but it always works. It's just breaking your word count into chunks. So for essays, I never try to write 2,500 words at once because I just know I'm either gonna go crazy or burn out or both. So I'll spend one day on research, and if I finish that early, then I will spend some time on outlining my essay, and then I just break it down into sections. So for example, if I have 2,500 words to do and I know that I've given myself like a decent amount of time, then I will split that by 5. So then all of a sudden I just have to do 500 words over 5 days. Just 500 words each day for 5 days. Think about doing 2,500 and then I'll have my essay done. That to me is the best hack because words the night before. I just can give myself a cute little 500 words on one day, 500 words the next day, and I'll still have things to do. So while all-nighters are very much a part of the uni experience, this is a way better option for the long run and can help you manage your time a lot better as well. I feel like that works even if you're doing it last minute. Now, I don't recommend leaving a 2,500 word essay to the night before, but it happens, and rather than let you generate the worst piece of writing you have ever written, I feel like telling you about a technique such as breaking the word count down can help you a lot. So for example, if you only have 1 or 2 days before, then break down the word count instead of 5 days into 7 hours, and then think about how many words are you going to accomplish in each hour. Now obviously this is a bit more tense, but I feel like it helps you understand that this can definitely be done within the day and you don't have to go crazy in the middle of the night. another thing to prevent that kind of thing is to just be flexible. Sometimes days don't go as planned, so I think it's really important to give yourself enough time to prevent things like all-nighters and cramming. The study technique that really helps me remember my stuff and not get too bored of what I'm studying is the Pomodoro technique. So the Pomodoro technique is where you can set a 25-minute timer, focus on your task at hand, and then take a 5-minute break, which really helps me stop from zoning out. Now, it doesn't have to be 25 minutes to 5 minutes. Sometimes when I'm feeling really locked in, I like to do 40 minutes and 15 minutes, but it's up to you and you can edit it however you want. Another little tip that has really helped me is to use pen and paper. Now, this obviously sounds a bit strange, especially coming from a media student, but I like to do things old school. Digital notes and iPads are really cool for me and really convenient, but when it comes to physically writing down notes and planning things out, I used to like pen and paper because I feel like it's way better for memory. I also feel like sometimes you have a bunch of thoughts in your head, and to just get out whatever you have in your head on a piece of paper can be kind of therapeutic and can also help you a lot with whatever you're trying to plan and actually getting a coherent plan on a piece of paper. Now, if you are sitting an exam, then past papers and practice questions are your absolute best friend. Past papers helps you get into that zone of what it would be like to be in an exam, and these kind of questions come up. And it can also help you plan out how you want your answers to be. Same with if you're writing an essay, reading a sample essay, especially if it's one that has really high marks, can really help me because I know how to format it, what that person did well, I can also try and implement, and it just alleviates the pressure from myself. Moving on to motivation and avoiding burnout. Sorry to say this, but motivation is honestly unreliable. Instead of waiting for the perfect time and when you feel like studying, start with just 5 minutes where you tell yourself, I'm going to study for 5 minutes. This really tricks my brain into just getting started, and once I start, I usually keep going. But even if you stop after those 5 minutes, just take a little break and then raise it up to 10 minutes and then 15 minutes and then 20 minutes. This helps me trick my brain into getting into the mood rather than just waiting for the day that will most probably never come, where I feel super motivated and do everything on time. Another tip to get you in the mood to study is romanticize studying. I mentioned this a bit earlier, but I genuinely feel like if you allow yourself to be in a really nice study space that has good vibes and just makes you feel excited, get yourself a sweet treat, put on some chill, relaxing music, then it will honestly make it feel less overwhelming and less painful. Just do whatever makes studying less painful for you. One weird thing that really helps me with this is to just make studying aesthetic. On Pinterest, I even have a board where I just have really aesthetic photos of studying to make me feel excited and kind of motivated. Like, yes, I want to be that person on my Pinterest board. I want to be in that zone. And surprisingly, it works. So just do it. So that is it for today's vlog. I just want to say studying isn't just about being perfect, it's about starting and being consistent. So I really hope that these tips helped, and if you've got your own study hacks, then please drop it down below in the comments. Best of luck for all your assignments and exams.